Congressman Mann, welcome on board the AEM Manufacturing Express, and thank you for being on board with equipment manufacturing in Kansas.
You're very welcome. Welcome to Salina, right in the exact center of Kansas, the right center of the country. Honored that you guys would take time to stop here today.
Well, we couldn't be more happy to be here, and I want to kick off by asking you a little bit about what equipment manufacturing means to a community like Salina and to the 1st Congressional District of Kansas.
So my district is the western 2/3 of Kansas, except for the Wichita area, a really large ag district, the number 3 ag district in the country. And so to have you all building the equipment right here that our ag producers are using is absolutely vital. And it also makes sure that there is a linkage between the demand, what producers actually need, and then what's being manufactured as well, which I think is something that people overlooked. Secondly, my district happens to have the most roads of any district in the country as well. And so, all the construction equipment that your members make that are made also right here in Salina at the property we're sitting on, could not be more grateful and appreciate the relationship with AEM. I think you all named me a champion of industry or something last year or the year before, but just grateful for you all and what you're doing in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, you were our 2023 champion of the industry, and we really appreciate everything that you've done for our industry. Obviously, your work on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee, your work on the House Agriculture Committee. Talk to us a little bit about some of the policies that you've been pushing for to help strengthen equipment manufacturers like Kubota and equipment manufacturing communities like Salina.
Yeah, I would put it into maybe 4 quick buckets. One, on the agriculture front, getting the Farm Bill done. We have to have a farm bill that at the core of demand for Kubota for their ag equipment is making sure that producers are profitable. At the heart of that is making sure our policies make sense and are market driven. So I've been pushing for a fiscally responsible farm bill that's a good steward of taxpayer dollars. So that's key for agriculture. Transportation and infrastructure, a lot of oversight over the dollars that have been appropriated. My big thing is let's make sure if we're going to spend $1.2 trillion in infrastructure, that we actually get $1.2 trillion of infrastructure out of it, not $700 billion, $800 billion, $900 billion because of all the permitting, all the red tape, all those things. And thirdly is just regulations. For me on the Small Business Committee, we've got to figure out a way in this country to make it easier for manufacturers to do their jobs, to not over-regulate folks. Lastly, tax. There's a lot of important tax provisions that are expiring at the end of next year. That's big for the consumers, big for all taxpayers as well. So those would be a handful of things that come to mind right away.
Well, no, then those are great issues, and we appreciate your work on them. For our industry, you mentioned regulations. Harmful regulation costs our industry about $50,000 per employee per year. So those are real dollars that add up.
The impact that is, and those are dollars that are spent on regulations, not on investing to grow the overall economy.
That's right.
I believe strongly our economy was based on innovation, not regulation. And when you overregulate, you cramp down on innovation, and that's when China and other countries beat us, and we cannot let that happen.
No, that's right. Speaking of, and your work in Congress has very much been at the nexus of rural communities and manufacturing. And obviously rural communities is more than just they're more than just farming, right? They're also equipment manufacturing, like here in Salina. What is it that you wish more Americans knew about rural communities, equipment manufacturing communities like Salina, Kansas?
I think I just wish more people knew how great these communities are. These are communities where people, their kids go to school together, people go to church together on Sunday. They work hard in the plants, in the factories, in the offices during the week. These are great communities because they're made up of fantastic people. And right here where we're sitting, we are about 80 miles away from the geographic center of the country. So we literally are the heartbeat of America. And these communities and the workforce that comes with these communities, second to none. And I just think we got to keep advocating for that and communicating that to an ever more urban Congress.
Fair to say that Kansas's greatest resource is its people?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. And how did those people become a great resource? Because of the basic values that still make America America, which I would say are faith, family, hard work. Those basic values are still alive and well in our rural communities and communities like Salina and all over the great state of Kansas.
Well, amen to that. Thank you. We are on a 10,000-mile cross-country road trip, right?
Yeah.
20 states, 80-plus communities. We're proud to be here in Salina, Kansas. We're going to wrap this up with 3 road trip questions for you.
Yep.
You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah,
Favorite road trip memory?
My first big road trip when I was in first grade, we left our farm in Quinter and we drove to Portland, Oregon to see my mom's cousins. And being in the back, you don't realize how big the state of Idaho is until you're a first grader sitting in the back of a Buick. But when I think road trip, that's where my head goes. It was a fantastic time together as a family.
Favorite road trip snack?
Snickers and Coke.
Snickers and Coke.
Coca-Cola, but you like stopping to get a really cold Coke. And it can't just be any Coke. It has to be like ice cold Coke.
Yeah.
And a Snickers, nothing better.
This controversial follow-up question, can or bottle?
It all depends on temperature.
Okay.
If it's ice cold, nothing's better than can.
Right.
If it's average temperature,
yeah,
bottle's probably better.
All right, final question for you.
Yeah.
Favorite road trip song while you're on that great road trip, eating that Snickers bar and drinking that Coke?
Yeah. So we do. I do a town hall in every county in my district every year. We have 60 counties. So we've driven 8,000 miles this year.
Wow.
A lot of road trips. So we often get in the car and play Willie Nelson on the road again. That said, my favorite song of all time is "Eye of the Tiger" by Survivor. So if you can play "Eye of the Tiger" on a road trip while you're drinking a cold Coke and a Snickers, that's about as good as it gets right there.
You know what? We're going to add that to our playlist, and as we're heading south, we're going to take you up on that advice. Get some Snicker bars, get some ice cold Cokes, a little Eye of the Tiger, and off we go.
And there you go.
Congressman Mann, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for being here. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Great.